From Clarkwoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 172. I'm Chris.
And I'm Steven. That echoed in my ear.
You are... Did that, like, clear out your ears?
Mm-mm.
No.
Maybe the beer will.
Oh.
I severely doubt that, but
did you just say I severely doubt that?
Severely, but if you want to say
I'm
severely, that's fine.
I'm going to believe you said severely. I severely doubt that.
I severely doubt it.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if beer was a cure-all.
It would be. That'd be nice.
I mean, because people drink plenty of it as it is. It would be nice if just like, if somebody discovered someday that beer, in the right measure, or maybe just add like one extra spice, was the secret to immortality. Just we all fucking drink beer. That wouldn't be so bad. A lot of us would have like bigger guts than.
Why do we need to be immortal, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. Because mortality is a disease.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's the cure. It's the cure for human beings.
Because we're parasites. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like we
sucking the life off of Mother Earth's teat.
She only has one? Did we already suck the other one off?
It's metaphorical.
Oh, okay. So she has more than she has one metaphorical teat,
I suppose. I mean, if you want to imagine the Earth as a multi-breasted beast, then please, feel free.
Not necessarily multi, but like not multi in like the sense of like Total Recall multi. I was just thinking that she had two.
Well, you could imagine Mother Earth as like not a not human entity, and then that maybe like a dog has like multiple teats.
Oh,
so like a whole litter can nurse.
Right. So like maybe so there's a teat for all of us.
No, there isn't. There's not enough teats. There's plenty of teats, but there's like 1% of the population that are hoarding all of it.
Oh, okay, right. So
I've changed the metaphor.
So 1% of the population has all the teats. If they would just give up the teats and let us squeeze a little bit of Mother Earth's teat juice into our beer, then we could be immortal.
No, it has nothing to do with being immortal.
I mean, there can be only one, but
one teat.
Well, no. I mean, eventually we all are immortal, and then we get katanas and we start chopping each other's heads off. Like that's the end game, or the Highlander games.
Whatever you say, Richie.
Spoilers.
What?
Richie. That's a spoiler. That's like my favorite episode of that show. My favorite episode of that show was when what's her butt gets killed, and you think Richie got killed, but then it turns out Richie didn't get killed because Richie's a fucking Highlander too, and they play Dust in the Wind, and I have to go to therapy because I am like death and yeah. I had a really hard time with that episode, and I still have a really hard time listening to Dust in the Wind because of that episode.
Wow.
Not because it's a shitty song, or because Kansas is a shitty band. I too once.
I can't believe the producers actually shelled out for that song.
For that song, yeah. I mean, it's Dust in the Wind. All we are, or dust on Mother Nature's teeth.
Yuck! You gotta wipe that.
Yeah, I mean that.
Gotta wipe that off before you suck on it.
Wipe it. I mean, so is that what we are to the 1%, right? We're just the dust on Mother Nature's teat, and the 1% is brushing us off into the wind.
I mean, the problem with our relationship, and I'm gonna drop the metaphor.
It was so much fun.
No, it wasn't. The problem with the 1% is that they actually need us.
They need the dust on Mother Nature's teeth.
They need human beings that are making less money than them to exist. Because without us, we're not. Without us consuming their products or whatever with our minimal amounts of cash, they aren't making the money that they have, or they're not making more money.
I see. God money gives you everything and something.
Yeah.
I'm not a real Nine Inch Nails fan.
You don't even know the fucking words.
Real Nine Inch Nails fan would know the rest of the words. God money, I'll do anything for you. God money, I tell me what you want me to, right? It's God money. Nail me up against the wall. God money.
Am I the only one that wishes you had a head like a hole right now?
if I had a head like a hole, I might be able to fit more than one of Mother Nature's teats into my neck.
No, I'm just saying that your head wouldn't be there. I think it was the...
Oh, is that what the metaphor is now?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, or maybe my head would open up.
That's what I was
into
insinuating.
A flower-like thing with bunches of teeth in it, and you might call me a demagogue,
Demogorgon,
or demodog.
Demodog. I hear the word demodog and I think of like a devil dog.
Like with a little cream in the middle.
The Drake's cake.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Drake's. Or it might have been Little Debbie.
That's a good question. I don't know. I know that there were devil dogs in Wreck-It Ralph.
Remember when Twinkies went away? When Hostess was like...
we don't call them Twinkies. We call them spinners.
What?
Nothing else. I don't think we can appropriate that. Twinkies, not Twinks.
Twinks, yeah.
Twinkies. Yes, all right. I remember when Twinkies went away for a little while.
And now they're back, and now they're like fucking doing all sorts of nonsense.
They're fucking each other's Twinkie holes.
That's not what I was going to say. But they did have, they're doing like all the flavors of Twinkies now.
I didn't know that.
And they're doing chocolate-covered Twinkies, which, if you don't recall, back in the day used to be called Chocodiles.
I did not remember that. Chocodiles.
Right.
I'm learning something the more you know.
Do.
No, you're supposed to just... Well, thank you for doing that. That saves me the post-production work of digging up the clip and throwing it in there.
Like you were actually going to do that
I might have. Well, today we're recording like the middle of the day. I've actually got some time.
Not the end of the day on
Not the end of the day on Monday when I've got to get it out with like half an hour to spare. So they were called chocodiles.
Crocodiles, yes.
They were just called crocodiles. Chocodiles. I did not remember that. Now, why is it that a Twinkie has so much of its cream filling, so much cream filling in it that it's spilling out of its bottom? I mean, if I've been backed up for a little while, it's not coming out of my bottom. It's just coming out of the hole, right? Twinkies, it's coming out of the hole, but it's also coming out of... No, Twinkies doesn't have a hole on the end, right? It has the holes in the bottom. So is a Twinkie a cum dumpster? Is that where this metaphor is going?
Why do we have to use metaphors? I'm just talking about the food
treat. It's the show of metaphors.
It isn't. It's a show where we make up interesting metaphors.
Oh. No, I mean, so I guess that's where they put the cream in. Which makes me think of another where the stuff goes in controversy for myself, right? And that is the jelly fucking donut.
All right, Chris, we're gonna teach people today.
Okay.
You teach creative writing, correct?
I do teach creative writing, yes.
So, what is the difference between a metaphor and a simile?
A simile is a direct comparison, and a metaphor is an indirect comparison.
So just basically like using something else to represent what you're talking about would be a metaphor.
The way that we traditionally think of it, the way we're taught in school, or the way you and I were taught in school, is that a simile uses like or as, and a metaphor does not. And so that's why the easier way to think of it is that a simile... Or not the easier way, but the way that college professors try to teach you so that they can get paid for teaching you new stuff.
Don't teach me like you're...
That's just a repetition of what you learned in high school.
But like only
I should edit that part out.
No. No one listens to this anyway.
No, so anyway, but it's direct versus indirect.
Okay.
Or not direct versus indirect. I'm fucking that up. It's... explicit versus implicit. Thank you. I knew I was fucking something up. So a simile is an explicit comparison. This is like that. And a metaphor is an implicit comparison.
Professor, what is another word for pirate's treasure?
Booty.
Well, I think it's booty. Booty. That's what it is. I forget what album that was off of. If it was the Beastie Boys or the Bloodhound Gang or something.
People get them confused all the time.
Well, there's a line in one of the Bloodhound Gang songs that says, "No, I'm not the guy from the Beastie Boys." So
it's good that he cleared that up for us.
Yeah, because we were all really confused.
We were all, I mean, we don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn.
That was a song that they did.
That was a song that they did, and then there was a song about called "The Bad Touch," where that's the one I remember a little bit more.
I don't remember the bad touch.
The bad touch was the one that came out like after it was like
was that the You and Me Baby Ain't Nothing But
Ain't Nothing But Mammals.
That's the song that's called The Bad Touch?
Yeah, so let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel. Yeah. That's on Hooray for Boobies, I think is the name of that album. Which also has the Ballad of Chasey Lane, which was of interest to me because at that particular period in my life I was enamored of the adult film star Chasey Lane.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look it up on my phone.
No, don't. So, but then I did terrible things, Steve. I'm a man and I did terrible things.
What happened? Let me maybe we can compare it, make a simile to something that has happened.
I wrote at least one story or song lyric or whatever, maybe more than one, where I did I plagiarize the Bloodhound Gang?
Did you?
Now there's a question to put in our show notes. Did Chris plagiarize the... No. So I listened to that Bloodhound Gang song and they had, she was on that song, she was in addition to them. I think they brought her in, and she was poking fun at herself, and so I think I decided I was allowed to poke fun
at yourself.
At Chasey Lane too, and so I used the comparison at least once, that something ate more ass than Chasey Lane.
Did she eat a lot of ass?
I think that's a lyric in the song, and I was just at that point in my life.
Or you were eating a lot of ass.
I haven't eaten a lot of ass, Steve. I
don't think it's for everybody.
No, I don't. But it's one of those things where I think if I were born in a different time, I might have eaten a little ass, not a ton, but a little ass. It seems like something I might have done in a different time. I don't know. I think if I were born later, I still would have ended up married to a woman. I think, but I might have eaten a little gay man's ass. I mean, not a little gay man's ass, but a little in terms of a few.
I'm sort of bumfuzzled of why you went straight for that. Like, of all the things you could do with a guy, like you're just like munching on his ass.
I don't know, because I think asses are cute.
Okay.
You know,
it depends on the ass.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm saying, like, I don't know if I'd be so much of a dick sucking man. I feel like I might be an ass eating.
Well, you don't have to do either, Chris. You could be the quote unquote top in the situation.
Oh, so somebody's eating my ass
or sucking your dick
or sucking my dick.
And you could be fucking ass or whatever if you wanted to. Right. I mean, it's and if the other person wanted you to.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, by way of example here. What were we talking about? Chasey Lane and the Bloodhound Gang and the Beastie Boys and No Sleep Till Brooklyn. No. About terrible things I did. But yeah, no. So I definitely used the comparison at least once in something. It might even be on my blog.
Is it a vlog or a blog?
No, blog. I don't think I ever said it on video. I don't think I ever said it out loud until just now. That something ate more ass than Chasey Lane.
Gross.
I mean, I think, to be fair, I think it was more about Chasey Lane ate a lot of women's asses. I don't think she ate a lot of men's asses.
Well, I mean, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad. I feel bad that I said some of the things that I said when I was a younger man.
Oh, you do? You feel bad about them?
I do.
Would you like issue? You want to issue Chasey Lane an official apology that you stole a line from a Bloodhound Gang song?
Yeah.
And reiterated.
I'm not going to apologize to the Bloodhound Gang, but I'll apologize.
No, apologize to both of them because you did a bad thing.
A baby did a bad thing. That's Chris Isaac. No. So, like, I don't know. I said a lot of dumb shit when I was younger, and I said some of it on my blog, which is still up on the internet. And like, why do I keep it up on the internet? Because you know what?
Because you're unashamed of what you did.
If people want to see how I was a dumb shit when I was a younger person, then they can go see that I was a dumb shit when I was a younger person. And I'm not trying to hide that I was a dumb shit when I was a younger person.
Yeah, I mean, like, when you are younger and you have bad ideas or do dumb things, and people yell at you for them. You know, the kind of personality that I am. If someone was to yell at me for doing or saying a dumb thing, like with a lot of people that are into our orange,
Oh, I got some follow up on that.
That orange idiot guy. People that are into him, is a lot of doubling down on stupidity.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because they refuse to think about
for themselves. Yeah. They do that.
Or they think that they're thinking for themselves, but they're actually being like manipulated by people like fucking what's his butt Infowars.com and Alex Jones and other dipshittery like Breitbart and
I mean the fans of Cheeto Satan, are not.
What was it that in Patton specially called him? He was like
Squirrel Wig McRacist Pants.
No, in the new special he called him a nutsack that had been dipped in
Cheeto dust. Yes, see that's a good one. I was reading from a list, and not that this is a bad one. This is let's see. I wish I knew it. Lovey, is that her actual name? She's at Lovey on
Lovey.
Luvvie, and Lovey provided us with a whole list.
When was the last time you've ridden the baloney pony? That was something.
I'm gonna drink just in case.
No, that was a New Sweethearts reference.
Oh, I got to drink extra when we make one of those.
Okay, so that was clips that we used, like that were from Opie and Anthony when they were back on AAF.
Yeah,
we used clips of Opie and Anthony, and I think it was Anthony calling up Mrs. Howell, or something like that, or one of the older. Actually, I don't think it was Mrs. Howell because she was probably dead at this point in the 90s.
Yeah,
but I think it was one of the people that was on Gilligan's Island, one of the ladies, and so he called up as doing an impression of Mr. Howell, and he asked them when the last time she had been ridden the baloney pony.
And did she? What was her response?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Garen had the tape of it.
Oh, okay.
And so we used clips of that in our titular track off of our first album, Hot Pants.
Hot Pants. Oh, the eponymous track.
Yes.
Titular's more fun to say, though.
Well, it's the title track.
Titular. Go back to the beginning of the show.
Yes, it was the fresh green breast of the new world of our album.
Shall I share with you some of the other ones that the Lovey came up with? Lovey came up with a bunch of these. I want to get your sense of which one is your favorite. Okay,
sure.
So I already mentioned Squirrel Wig McRacist Pants and Cheeto Satan. There's Coral Baby Hands, Fanta Fascist, Dreamsicle Demon, Orange Menace, El Hombre de Tang. Marmalade.
You really thought that one was going to get me.
Marmalade Mussolini, Herr Gropenfuhrer, Sunkissed Stalin, Habanero Hitler, Mandarin Orange Mugabe, Trumple Thinskin, Toupe Fiasco, Salmon Voldemort.
I don't think I like any of them.
Okay, how about these ones? There's just a couple more.
Oh God.
Kim Jong Orange, Pantone Beelzebub, Minute Maid Mao, Orange Folius, Papaya Batista, Twitler, Pumpkin Pinochet, Cheese Whiz, Lemonhead Elect, Peach Nehe President, Short-Fingered Vulgarian.
Yeah, no,
I like Orange Folius.
I mean that it's clever, but I don't.
Yeah.
I just call him for what he is, a fucking asshole, fuckface twit.
Which is good. I like that. Fucking asshole, fuckface.
Don't write it down and don't put it in the goddamn show notes. Just like call him any sort of obscenity you want, but don't call him anything.
Don't call him Al.
With any sort of respect.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, definitely not Al, because we had a nice guy named Al who tried to tell us that the planet was that Mother Nature's teats were drying up.
Yeah, and then
we didn't listen. To him. It was inconvenient to listen to that, Al.
Yeah, it was. I listened to a thing on Tony Robbins, the guy with the fucking teeth.
Yes,
like the motivational speaker guy.
Yes,
I listened to him. I think it was on the TED Radio Hour.
Okay,
and they were talking to him about like after the 2000 election, he spoke with Al Gore.
Yeah.
And you know, like after if you noticed after the election, Al Gore kind of came out of his shell.
Yeah.
Which is something he should have done prior to the election.
He should have had...
but like, he talked to Tony Robbins and
Tony Robbins instead of Joe Lieberman as his running mate.
No, it should have just been... He should have just been like the guy he was after the election before he...
Yep.
Because like a lot of... I think the reason why people didn't vote for them and voted for W was that W had a little bit more personality to him.
You wanted to have a beer with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have, but you know, you can't have a beer now with W because he doesn't drink.
No,
because he's
Could you have some Coke with him? Did he still do that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not.
But you could. I would easily have a beer with the former vice president.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Al he's a good guy. He's responsible for like a lot of the I would be willing to bet, because he's on the board at Apple, that he's responsible for how much they talk about environmental issues.
At least why they talk about it, not necessarily.
Well, I think they're doing stuff about it. I don't want to be. I am an Apple fanboy, so I'm not going to go on about it. But I'm just like, I think they are making an effort. But I think if they are making an effort, a lot of it is due to Al being on there.
What do you say, Al?
Being on their board, you know. I have a new Apple product right here.
You do?
Yeah, it's an iPhone 10. It just unlocked because I looked at it.
That's crazy. Did you touch it after that?
No. Well, I mean, if I want to, now I can slide up and I can do stuff. But no, watch this. Right? Is it unlocking?
It didn't.
It's. I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it now.
I'm not looking at your phone. I'm
looking at it, and now it unlocked.
Stop hitting yourself, phone. Stop hitting yourself.
So I got on iPhone 10. So I've had it since...
It's like when... Okay, so... The Mega Man series.
Yes.
We went Mega Man 1 through 7.
Okay.
Actually, 1 through 6.
Uh-huh.
And then on the Super Nintendo, there was Mega Man X.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And Mega Man X 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was an entirely different series.
Right.
And then Mega Man 7 comes out, which is the original Mega Man series, and then Mega Man 8...
back to their original numbering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but it was the original Mega Man. It's not a different Mega Man.
Oh.
And then, they made Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10. So Mega Man X is a different thing. So if you're going to make the iPhone 10 before the iPhone 9, then there's something wrong with that.
Yes.
Like if it's an entirely different series, like when the X2 comes out, and then the iPhone 9 can come out.
Yep.
Simultaneously.
I wouldn't put it past them.
But that's not what they're doing. They're calling this the iPhone 10.
Yes, and I think that's part of the marketing, is that it's like a phone that's 2 years ahead of its time, even though they're not explicitly saying that. They are. It's a metaphor.
It's not a metaphor.
It's implicit. No, I think there's a thing there that by calling it the 10 and having it come out the same year as the 8, that they're saying this is a phone that's ahead of its time.
Well, then just fucking have it be the 8.
I'd be happy if they just didn't use the fucking X, because they should fucking know better at this point. They know that they used OS 10, which was OS X, right? At least that's what it looked like. And people called it OS X.
They should call it the iPhone DS.
I don't know. Why is that funny? That's funny. I don't know why it's
DS Draco.
But anyway, so I've had this for a week. It's pretty badass. It's pretty baller.
It is baller.
It's pretty baller.
I don't want to toot my own phone's horn.
Do you
have a horn on there?
What's that?
Do you have a horn on there?
To toot your own
phone. I mean,
phone.
the question is, if I get iPhone 8 or X or whatever, will my rainbow gems be transferred from one phone to the other?
I think you got to do it from a backup. I think that's the most important thing.
No, I mean, I want, all my Treasure Cruise stuff to, go over to the new phone.
That's what I'm saying. So, if your Treasure Cruise runs through Game Center, which is
It does not.
Okay, so if it ran through Game Center, then you could sign in to any old device and log in with Game Center, and your stats and stuff would be there, and your accomplishments and whatever. Since it doesn't...
Well, Game Center doesn't even exist anymore as an app.
It's still there.
I know it's still there because it says "Welcome Tuesday's Loser" when I log into the Pinball FX,
right?
Whatever.
So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have an iCloud backup or a backup on your computer of your phone, and then when it comes time to get your new phone, that you restore from that backup, because the backup will have all the gems and the what have you.
It better.
I
have like 250, and I'm like, this battery life on this phone is garbage. It was always garbage, but it's even more garbage now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you just gotta, before you give that phone away to anybody, you gotta make sure.
This will be my
your new phone,
secondary phone. Once.
I remember you had that going on before.
I own this. This is mine.
Yes, I don't own this. Are you rubbing it in that I lease my phone?
Yeah. It's like, why don't you just lease a car too?
I would lease a car if I drove fewer miles.
I could easily lease a car, but I wouldn't want to.
Yeah, I would totally be all about it. I don't want to own anything. Life is rent. But I mean, until we figure out how to put Mother Nature's teat juice into the beer and become immortal, we
don't need to be immortal, Chris.
All we're doing is renting.
Because when we die, we go into the kingdom of heaven.
That's a very nice story. I'm glad you read a book.
Who's that?
That's Patton Oswalt.
Okay.
It's like sky cake, there's sky cake and sky
no,
cookies sky baklava.
No, I shouldn't have brought it up.
I was pointing out to Stephanie though, I love Patton Oswalt, right? Because I love Patton Oswalt, I feel like I'm allowed to critique Patton Oswalt even when he is doing. It's the same way that, like, as a fan of certain writers that I love, or a fan of certain filmmakers that I love, I can continue to love them and still be like, that's fucking stupid. Patton has a point in every one of his specials where he talks about how fat he is. Like, that every routine he has that moment where he talks about how much weight he's gained or how fat he's got. Like, every single one of them. I mean, he even poked fun at it on one of the specials, a couple specials.
I don't think he's talked about it a lot, if at all, on the new one.
He does. But it's very briefly. And when he gets to that point, that I was like, I pause.
But it's part of, like, his humor is self-deprecating.
Yeah. No. I didn't. Sorry, that growl sounded more like I was upset about it. No, I was just like, I expected it, and I was waiting for it, and there it was. And he didn't spend too much time on it. I've only watched the special once, so I can't remember where it is, but it's in there, and it's kind of more as an intro to something else. So he doesn't do a whole bit on it like he does with Brian Dennehy on Werewolves and Lollipops, or the other ones. Which
at least you're not talking about Dennis Leary.
I'm not.
You know who also came up at around the same time as Dennis Leary?
Oh, who? Who, Steve?
This comedian that a lot of people are talking about nowadays.
Oh, it's always good when people talk about a comedian. That means they're on the rise, right?
Yeah. Louis C.K.
Oh, yeah. And in some cases on the rise in front of people who would rather not have him be on the rise in front of them.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, I think anybody that maybe I'll just do the Cliff's Notes version. Mm-hmm. Louis C.K. In his younger years, I think 2002 is when all this hullabaloo started.
I don't know the timeline.
Okay, so the Louis C.K. was working on the Chris Rock show at the time. He mm-hmm. I had not heard of Louis C.K. As a comedian until about, I think, maybe 2006, 2005, 2006, mm-hmm. when he was consistently on Opie and Anthony.
Right.
Like when his show Lucky Louie came out and mm-hmm. some other shit. That's when I became aware of him. Right. And that's when I think he started taking off. Yeah. As far as his comedy went. Right. So, but at this point in his life, he was doing a lot of writing. Yeah. He was doing stand-up, but he was doing a lot of writing for Chris Rock. I think he did Pootie Tang around that time, which everyone mm-hmm. hated. Yeah. So he was at some comedy festival in Colorado. Yeah. Invited a couple of girls after the show back to his hotel. Right. Asked them if he could jerk off in front of them. Yeah. they sort of laughed it off, and then he just started
doing it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I think they left, and then after he finished. And then like there was a couple other incidents where he was working with somebody, and then he asked them if he could do it. She said no, and he walked away and sort of like in an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And then there was another instance where like someone said fine, agreed to it, and whatever.
And he did it.
So it's a lot of like there's been a lot of things what he did was shitty. Mm-hmm. And let me just start off right there. Okay. The things that he did were shitty.
Yes.
But if you look at the things that other people that have done that are shitty, they don't even compare.
What? Like who?
Like, just say the orange twit that is currently occupying the White House bragged on an Access Hollywood tape about grabbing women by the pussy.
He did do that.
Yeah.
I remember. So,
I mean, I'm not saying that what Louis did was right. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it just seemed like a pervy thing that was something that got him off when he was younger.
Right.
And like, I'm sure there are plenty of men and women that did stuff when they were younger that they regret. And, I think this has actually been bothering him for a really long time.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think when he got married and he had his two girls, I think, like, that's when he was like, it like struck him like a bolt of lightning. And he was just like, fuck. And I'm only sort of trying to extrapolate what is going on. This isn't necessarily true, but this is what I'm assuming.
This is what, yeah. Yes.
And it hits him like a bolt of lightning. That what he did was shitty,
right?
And I think that's when he starts trying to make up for it. Mm-hmm. And then this shit comes out like this week.
Yeah.
I think it was the New York Times story comes out, and everybody's just like, "Fuck him! He's the worst thing ever."
Yeah.
He's and it's apparent that he already feels bad about it because like you could tell it in his comedy in the show Louis and in other things that he is trying to already make up for it. But he doesn't want to like admit it. He's not Jim Norton. He can't just wear everything on his sleeve,
right?
Because like when all this shit started happening, I think the first thing I said was like, what is it going to come out next that Jim Norton had sex with a transsexual prostitute?
Is that what's going to happen next?
I mean, he admitted to doing so. So if it does come out, then it's old news.
Right.
But it's just, and then like, so I've just been thinking about this a lot this week. And like, when are we okay with forgiving somebody? Like, so if someone commits a crime, let's just say a non-violent crime, not murder, not rape, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Someone commits they get bagged for selling pot, or like they get bagged for shoplifting, or something maybe a little bit grander scale, so you would actually end up going to jail. Like, when is it okay to forgive those people for doing those bad things?
Well, let me throw a question back at you.
Okay.
So Kevin Spacey was one within the last couple weeks, gets accused of hitting on a then 14-year-old Anthony Rapp. And that's just come out within the last couple of weeks. Do we forgive him for that?
I don't know. Like, it's like, I just made, and I'm sort of like putting it out there. I like Louis C.K. a lot.
Right.
Like, and then this is the problem that I'm having is that I've liked him for a really long time, and I don't want to not like him. And I'm trying to think of excuses, and that's what I'm doing right now to try to rationalize why he's not a complete fucking scumbag. And people like fucking Weinstein and Trump and fucking like Spacey are.
Right. I totally I like Spacey's work, so I was dealing with this a couple weeks ago, right? Like, I loved House of Cards, right? I loved him in American Beauty back in the day. Like, I think Spacey's a good actor, but then you hear this shit and you're like, right now at least, I need a break because I can't separate the guy from his work. And in Louis' case, the only thing that I have a hard time with, and I haven't read enough about it, is the whispers that like other people's careers were affected by it. Now, I don't know how true that is, but there's sort of the intimation that like he was a successful guy, and if people didn't let him jerk off in front of him, then maybe their careers kind of didn't.
No, but like, I don't know.
But I don't know how true that.
But the thing is, like, from reading the article, it seems like even though they let him do it, they still their careers still suffered.
Yeah.
And so why not just come out with it back then?
Right. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean,
because they seem like they were ready to do that. Seemed like they were ready to be like, this fucking guy just jerked off in front of us.
Yeah.
And maybe if they had, this wouldn't have fucking happened anymore.
Yeah, but
then again, we might not have gotten the Louis C.K. we got today because of the fact that he might have just been more remorseful about what he did. Like, it seems like he's already gone through like it. And then, like, he released a statement, and everybody was like, "It's a statement, not an apology." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But he did feel bad. Like, you could tell by the words that he wrote. He didn't explicitly say the words "I'm sorry," but like there was also things in the Times article saying that he actually called up the people and fucked up, like apologizing to them.
Yeah, I remember reading that part.
I mean, and it's just. And then it just comes back to me again, like, when are we okay with being accepting an apology? Like, when it, like, because he wanted to do this not in the media. He wanted to do it like he should have done it better.
Right.
Just should have done it way better. He probably shouldn't have jerked off in front of anybody in the first place. But we've already gone past that point. Yeah. So at this point, now we have to figure out how do we get to a point where like Louis C.K. is allowed to be funny again, and we're allowed to like him again.
I mean, well, it also came out this week. So here's another figure that comes in here. Okay. So I'm going to get parts of this wrong. I apologize in advance. Another person whose work I really like, what's her name? Oh my God. She was the star of the baby one. She's got a baby. She's a teenager. She's pregnant. And she's pregnant with what's his ass from I can't figure it out.
Use your phone. Use your magical iPhone.
She was
I'm gonna let you dangle here.
She was in a whole bunch of stuff, and of course, what am I gonna look up? She was in X-Men. X-Men. Which one was she in? The third one. The third one. She was in that one.
She was in. I don't know.
Oh, she was also in Days of Future Past. Okay, come on, later.
Was she Jean Grey?
Everyone is yelling at their things.
No one's yelling because they don't know who you're talking about.
Ellen Page.
Ellen Page, yes.
Ellen Page. So this week, Ellen Page came out and mentioned a couple things. So she mentioned in the first place that she, on that film, on X-Men 3, not on Days of Future Past, but X-Men 3 way back in the day, The Last Stand. She was on set. She was a younger woman. She had not yet come out as a gay woman. And Brett Ratner, the director, made some kind of comment to her and to one of the other people on the set that she, who was just barely out of her teens, if not still in her teens, they should just fucking get it over with or something like fucking. He was telling some other woman, you should fuck her and prove to her that she's a lesbian. Basically, he outed her as a teenager without any consent. He's an asshole, and people have said Brett Ratner's an asshole for years, so that's no big surprise.
Yeah.
I only bring that up in the context of, so she tells this story, and then she talks about how a few years later, she did a movie with Woody Allen. And it's one of her great regrets is that she went and did a movie with Woody Allen, who well known for being, I don't know, did he sleep with his former stepdaughter?
No, I mean he I think the story about Woody Allen is that he was with a person, and then I think it was actually a famous person, and I can't think of it right now. And then I think they maybe adopted, or I don't know.
Right,
If it was
Mia Farrow.
Yeah,
who he was with, and they adopted.
They adopted, and then when the adopted daughter turned 18, he left Mia and
married. Yeah. And that's
that is creepy, but
and so
not illegal,
right? But yeah. So I don't know. All of this makes me uncomfortable because, like, Woody Allen doesn't make me uncomfortable because I've never watched a Woody Allen film, and I don't really have any desire to.
I have, and I've enjoyed most of the Woody Allen films I have seen.
Louis C.K. I have listened to a few specials. I'm definitely not as big a fan as you are, but that one bugged me because even though I had heard rumors that he was maybe not as savory as
but like a lot of if you like a lot of comics are freaking broken people that have like just like weird hang-ups, weird sexual hang-ups, and like I mean I bring up Jim Norton again because he's got all of them, I think.
Right. But
the thing is he's so like the thing about Jim Norton is he's like so fucking open about it, and it's so like a part of his act and a part of his persona and a part of like, you know, like cuz he, you know, on the radio every fucking day, like he is one of the few remainders of he's the actual only remainder of the Opie and Anthony show.
Right.
Because Opie got fired and Anthony got fired, Opie got fired, and so now it's just it's Jim and Sam who used to do the pre-show. And I remember back listening like when they first started on XM, and Sam was just this like, you know, intern that was like videotaping stuff, and now he's the guy.
He's the co-host of the show. But when you brought up Norton earlier, right? And I remember from the years that I listened to O&A that how open Norton was about his hang-ups and stuff. But Norton having sex with a transsexual prostitute isn't, I mean, that's maybe weird to some people, but as long as he paid the person and it was consensual.
Well, like the thing is, if he paid the person, regardless of consent, it's illegal.
Well,
so he committed a crime. He admitted to committing a crime, and we're okay with that because he's upfront with it.
Well, no,
and I'm not saying that you shouldn't be.
I'm okay with that because I don't think prostitution should be a crime.
Well, you know, it does exploit a lot of people.
Well,
if it wasn't a crime, it might exploit less people because then you could have it regulated and whatnot.
Right, exactly. That yes. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying that it's a victimless crime. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm just saying that if it were not criminal, as it is not criminal in other places in the world, I think. You know.
I mean, it's definitely shitty, and you know, in his like I'm back on CK again.
Yeah.
Like in his statement, he said he abused his power, and a lot of people are harping on the fact that he said that these people they respected him as a comedian, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and it's funny the same people that are yelling about him saying those things are the same people that said those things. They're like, they idolized him as a comedian or whatever, and blah, 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 blah. And he says them, and they're like, well, he keeps on tooting his own horn. It's like, what the fuck do you want? It's like, you can't win. Like, he could have said, like, a million times, sorry, I'll fall on my sword, and then you'll never hear from me again.
Right.
Is that what people want? Is that, like... Because he jerked off in front of people, which is shitty, and and if you don't want to see it, then it's fucking gross.
Yeah. I don't know.
But at most it's indecent exposure. At least it's a decent exposure. At most it's like a sexual misconduct.
Right.
Like even if they wanted to bring up charges on him, I don't think they would even stick. Like it's just, and it just, I'm like, fuck.
Well, so you're looking for what, permission to still like him?
Yes, basically. I want to still like Louis C.K. Like I was like, we're
Well, you have my permission to still like him. Still.
Thank you, Chris. I don't know if I have the world's permission. If I went Twitter silent because I'm like, there's no way I'm fucking talking about this on social media.
Yeah.
At least on this show, we only know like a couple of people listen, so they'll be like, well, Steve's shitty opinion will stay with us.
Well, but the thing is, I don't want to get into Twitter giving 280 characters. Like, that's a whole other mess. But, like, traditionally, Twitter is like 140 characters to make your point.
Not that anybody would, like, have seen my tweet anyways. Or it'll be the one time a fucking tweet takes off.
Some people do searches, and they're, like, looking for anybody who's saying anything controversial to, like, so it might have. What I'm saying is, like, here, you have the opportunity to talk it out.
Yeah,
with a friendly party, as opposed to 140 characters and just putting it out there, and then because it's asynchronous, you could have people attacking you while you're asleep and not have any chance to defend yourself and have this whole pile on.
But it's even in relationships, like like men and women have different sexual proclivities, and like there's sometimes.
Sometimes you feel
one
like
of the two of
sometimes you don't.
No. There's sometimes one of the two parties is not quite as interested in that that weird thing or quote unquote weird thing that the other person might be into, and they might just go along with it just because they care about the person,
right?
Or they're just like, whatever, it doesn't matter to me, and I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense in relationship to what we're talking about.
No, but I see you. I see you.
This is just me trying to rationalize.
Because you're a decent person and you don't like shitty things happening to people. But
right,
you also...
I don't want this fucking to happen to people. I don't think it has happened to anybody since I think it's since Louis got married.
I don't know. I like I said, I didn't follow enough of it carefully enough to really like be much help here. I just know I read or skimmed the Times story, and I think it came out while I was at work, so I skimmed and then I got back to what I was doing. Yeah.
But it just bummed me out. I don't want. I mean, I do. It'd probably be wise, and it sucks because like. The people that are suffering the most are the people that worked on like his movie that he was just about to release. Yeah. And now it's just in limbo.
Right.
And and then he just gets to sit and the other people that are going to suffer are his daughters because maybe they can't go to the nicer school anymore or whatever, and or fucking like people that worked on all the shows that he's executive producing, like
yeah, there are a lot of.
I don't know if like they can easily get a new EP and like little Jimmy, let's pull him in. There's nothing that could come out that he hasn't already said on the radio.
Right. It's an interesting time.
It's just but like, when is it going to stop?
I don't think it's going to. I mean, so just going back to Spacey for a second, Spacey was in a movie that's coming out within the next 2 months.
And they're going to completely reshoot it.
Remove him entirely and film. So he was going to have to be in, I think he was going to have to be in makeup. He was going to have to play older. And they're bringing in Christopher Plummer, who is older, and refilming all of Spacey's parts with Christopher Plummer
as a young person.
No. Christopher, they were going to have to age Spacey up. They don't have to age Plummer down. Oh, okay. He's just going to play his proper age. But they're doing that all within the next couple of months to get Spacey out of their movie. And then you've got Netflix. I think Netflix came out and said they will not bring back House of Cards with Spacey on it. And at a certain point, it becomes... It's hard for me as a consumer of media to go, how much of this is just them posturing and how much of them is this doing the right thing? Because they're going, oh, we saw that this movie is going to completely erase Kevin Spacey from it, and the media reaction was like, yes, so we, Netflix, are going to be over here and go, yep, no House of Cards with Kevin Spacey.
I saw Louis C.K.'s specials, the most recent ones, and some of the older ones still on Netflix. Yeah. So they haven't cleaned house yet.
Yeah. So and what was the other thing that I was
But HBO completely severed any sort of HBO apparently removed all of his stuff from their platform.
But so and here's the part where it gets really dicey. And I saw a friend of mine. I know almost nothing about this because I went out last night to see a play, and I happened to be checking.
I hope nobody on that play ever did anything bad in their past. Like I'm just like it. It's bringing back the conversation to back when Anthony Cumia was fired, and like we had a pretty lengthy conversation about that as well.
Yeah,
like the lynch mob on the internet, like and the things Anthony said were shitty.
Yeah,
but he should never have been fired for those things because he should have already been fired for things that he already said on the air because he's a fucking vicious racist.
So here's where I think it becomes and again, I don't know enough about this to really comment too much because I only saw it in passing. But one of my friends on Facebook last night mentioned that there had been allegations that had come out against the guy who played Sulu on Star Trek.
And we all love him.
Right, well, but and what they were saying, what my friend was saying was that in her digging around just the beginnings of this story, something smelled fishy about it, right? And so, and there's another person that I follow online, a minor sort of comics writer, not a comics critic, doesn't write the scripts, who backed himself off of Twitter this week and said, like, listen, believe the victims, right? In just in general, believe victims, but in this case, please give me the like. He's a very nice guy, and apparently he in his telling of it, he has an old relationship where the person has sort of a mentally unhealthy fixation on him and is now throwing charges out there about things that happened in their relationship. And Commander Sulu is getting what the
George Takei.
George Takei, thank you. George Takei is getting accused of things. So I think what the real difficult thing is that I think we definitely need to always start from a place of believing the victims.
Yeah, I mean, like, in no way in our conversation did I say,
no,
did Louis not do these things?
Oh, no. I don't think you said that at all. I'm just bringing it up because I think this is a really, like, I don't know how we move forward from here to the point where, like, what if somebody's career gets ruined based on
an allegation
that turns out to not be true.
Right. I mean, I think the first thing like that Louis said in his statement, he's like, everything that these people are saying is true.
Right. Yeah.
Like, just because, like, he's been trying to hide it for years, and it finally is bubbling up, and that's probably why it's bubbling up, is because he tried to hide it for years. And I think that, beyond his initial first mistake, which was to do it in the first place, his second mistake was to fucking hide it.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't know. And but our president can get away with it.
Yeah. We weeks after it comes out in the news, it was, I think, in October of 2016, right, when that hit the news, that fucking Access Hollywood interview.
It came out too far away from the election.
Yeah, we should have waited a week or two.
If they had, it's butter emails. No, but what was no, but I wonder how much of this is trying also to fueled by we fucked up, we elected an abusive sexist, racist asshole, we can't do anything about it because
let's take down everybody else.
It's hard not to see there's an element of that.
The patriarchy, let's just remove it from everything. Because I understand, I get it when people have done bad things to you and you want them to pay for it, but I don't know, taking down every man. Like, I'm a man. I don't want that. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that because I'm a self-hating man.
Well, I'm not. I apparently don't have as much self-hatred as you, and I'm like.
I don't think anybody does.
Okay, but the thing is, like, you know, like I've done and said shitty things, like you said earlier in the show.
Yeah.
You've done and said shitty things in the past, but like to have those things that you did 10 years, 20 years ago, like dictate who you are as a person, like in your 40s or in your late 30s or whatever, like is kind of BS.
Yeah, but
because you are not that same person.
But you have to look at what your actions might have done to the other person,
right? And like
over the course of they're a completely different person because of something that I did.
But the thing is, like, there's plenty of people that we've encountered in our
wondering if that's the case.
There's plenty of people that we've encountered in our lives that have said and done things to us that have affected us negatively and that have made you a very negative person, perhaps.
Yeah.
And are you blaming those people? Or are you?
In some cases, yes.
Oh, well, I try not to do that.
I try not to, but I saw one of those people at the bank
because, like,
ago,
you know, because like
I still have a lot of hatred.
You get a lot of control back if you take ownership of it. It may not be your fault at all,
right? But
like, there's so many things in my life that I've done that that have necessarily been completely out of my control. That I try to reach some control out of something and then try to make my life a little better.
Yeah, no, generally speaking, I try to not be putting the blame on other people, but there are a couple of people who, including this person that I saw ran for office in our hometown at one point.
Did you vote for him or
her? I did not vote for this person, and I wasn't living in town at the time that they were running for office, but. You know, it's not like what they did to me was worthy of like a press conference. They were just a shitty person, but I think they did shitty things to other people that might have been worthy of. They didn't win, as far as I know. They never got office, but they did run.
Anyway, okay, well, I think what needs to happen is that when people do shitty things, instead of sitting on them for 10, 15 years, like, people need to say, this person is shitty.
But in order for them to do that, we have to create a culture where they feel like there's any chance that they'll be believed.
Well, I mean, like I said, like you believe somebody that makes an accusation. I mean, that's generally what you do.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I don't think 10 or 15 years ago that was necessarily the case.
But the thing is, like, in if it was a criminal act, if that's what we're going to do,
right,
then we're throwing out innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Because if we're automatically believing everything that any accusation is, then we're throwing out that, okay, well, they said it, so obviously you're guilty.
Right.
So we don't necessarily want that in sort of a criminal justice sort of vein, but we do want it to, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no. I mean, burden of proof is still like that in our system needs to maintain a thing, but I think we need to make people feel safe to make an accusation. And I think that's the part where the whole, like, their careers might have been ruined, or that part comes out, is that they're sitting there in this very small world, all things considered. Yeah. And whether they should feel this way or shouldn't, they probably felt at some point that they couldn't come forward. And then, of course, there's the element of, like, you know, once one person comes forward, that gives everybody a little bit of confidence, but a little bit more confidence to come forward. But I don't know. We just need to establish a system where you can come forward without fear of repercussions. I don't know how you establish that system. I don't know. I know what keeps me up at night, because I'm self-loathing, is wondering about every single but every single physical interaction I've ever had with a member of the opposite sex, I sit and think, Did I do something wrong? Did I do something wrong? That's my last couple of weeks.
So it's really helping all.
I'm not saying that I shouldn't be thinking about that.
No, it's not a bad thing that you are, but the kind of people that are concerned, like people like you and me, that might be concerned that we might have done something bad to somebody, aren't the people you're trying to fucking reach.
Yeah.
Like the people that you're trying to fucking reach are people
who don't care.
Who don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like who don't give any shits at all. They're like, I don't care. I'll grab a pussy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. But I still like, and so there's the part when I remember we're at the end here. We kind of went off.
Sorry,
it's like that's fine.
I mean, sometimes it's not necessarily going to be a laugh 'em up show. I think last week was. I think I was on my game despite being sick. But this week I'm just bummed out because somebody I like and well. Was I talking about it on this show?
I don't know.
Recently, like when you meet somebody that you really respect and they're cool, or was I talking to somebody?
I don't know. I feel like we've talked about it at some point.
Yeah, because like the time that I met Ron Bennington over a plate of cookies at the Players Ring.
Yeah, and
we talked about Alice's restaurant for a little bit, and he was a fucking great dude to talk to, and he was really nice, and we shot the breeze during intermission, and it was fine, and it was really cool, and it was the kind of interaction you want to have with somebody you really respect. Yeah. And I hope to fucking God that nothing comes out about Ron Bennington. Because of the radio guys that I really liked listening to, over the years, like he is the one that I think I respect the most. Yeah. Because like he did the shock jock thing down in Florida, so I'm sure, and he did a lot of coke back in the day. Right. So I'm sure there's some fucking stories about them doing some crazy shit in the studio, but
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to wrap this one up, Steve.
And when I met Dane Cook, he was a dink.
We have talked about that. I have not met either one of them, so I could.
But I didn't quite idolize
Dane Cook.
Dane Cook as much as I took reverence of Ron Bennington.
Ron Bennington, yeah. I haven't met a lot of my heroes. A lot of my heroes are dead.
Is that a quote?
No, it's not a quote. It's just like when I think about. I've started to meet again some of the people I admire writing wise. I mean, I've been to events lately, and met some of them. But the people that I really like idolize are dead in a lot of cases. Which is okay.
That's a bummer, man.
I'd like to meet some comics people again someday. I'd like to do that. Those are people I admire. I met Jim Lee once.
Who?
Jim Lee. Oh, you said cool. I thought you said who.
No, I said who.
Oh, Jim Lee.
You repeated it, and that gave me no more insight to who he is.
He was he was one of the big artists on the X-Men back in the 90s.
Oh, so he drew all the curvy ladies.
Yeah, and then he went on to do Wildstorm at Image Comics. And then after that, he started doing DC, started doing Batman and Superman, and now he's president or co-president of DC Comics.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
I met him once. I got a picture of him, like back in 2010.
So that's something I didn't want to do when I met Ronnie B. It was get a picture or like get an autograph or something.
Well,
like that.
In this case, it was at a
convention.
At a convention.
That is something that happens.
Yeah. So
since this, I think I made
somebody on the street. I don't want to do this.
Well, it wasn't on the street. I mean, like we were. At
you're in the ring.
But the thing is, like, I didn't want to just because it was both like really great and fun for me to do, but also nerve-wracking that I didn't come off as a fucking creepy fanboy. I think he actually referred to me as like some hipster in Portsmouth on the show.
on the show, yeah. It's funny when that stuff comes up. My friend John Herman was able to lay claim to the fact that Barack Obama, I don't know when he mentioned this. It might have been on his re-election campaign. So in 2012? Yeah. Like, so maybe in 2012 he was coming through New Hampshire again and saying one of the last times before he got the nomination and got to feel sort of normal was he was walking through Prescott Park in Portsmouth, and he saw this improv group rehearsing out on the lawn, and that was my friend John's improv group. So they got called out by the last real president we had or may ever have. Because they're going to get into a dick measuring contest about who's fatter, him or Kim Jong Kim. Whatever his fucking name is.
All right, so just to paraphrase, I'm glad Louis C.K. is going to take some time off. I'm hoping everything can be forgiven, but if it isn't, then I'm at least I have a body of work that I can still purchase from him. Yeah. So he can have some money and not go bankrupt because of like some shitty things that he did 15 years ago.
It's people who make stuff are complicated and, as you said before, broken, and at a certain point I think we're all going to have to come to a sort of reckoning with somebody that we love. Somebody whose work we love, who also happens to be have been a dick or terrible to somebody. Like, we're gonna have to come to that reckoning, and I don't know how to deal with it.
All right, well on that happy
note, you can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/172. And if you have anything to say about the various things we got wrong today,
I mean, if you have opinions and they're strong ones and they're contrary to the ones that I have, I'm not necessarily going to double down, but there's a good chance that my mind's pretty much made up.
Right.
I think that he did a shitty thing, but I also think that he should he's owned up to it, and then he should eventually be forgiven for it.
And if you disagree, you can send that to or agree. It'd be nice for somebody to tell Steve he's right.
Oh yeah, if you agree with me, that's fine. If you agree with me, that's boring. But so just talk about something else that.
Well, you can agree with Steve and then tell me that I'm wrong.
Yeah,
make sure you
talk about metaphors and similes with Chris.
You can send those emails to hot@clarkwoods.com, or if they'd fit in 280 characters or less.
Wow, that's a lot.
You can send them to us on Twitter. I'm at ECC1977.
And I'm at Tuesday is Loser. That's Tuesday, I-S, Loser, all one word.
Have you made a 280 character tweet yet?
I have not. The only time I ever tweet is the show.
Yeah, well, if you want 280 characters, you go read Game of Thrones.
I should just tweet out balls of steel.